So I'm here with Professor Erik Haan, and we're now going to be talking about Masterclass 2, which I'm really personally interested about. So this is Erik's book on critical moments in executive coaching, and this is going to be part of the basis for Masterclass 2 that we're running with the Association for Coaching. So Erik, let's first off talk to me a little bit about the book and the research that you've done looking at critical moments in executive coaching.
Yeah, Darren, this was research we started in, I think, 2002, collecting descriptions initially from coaches about moments in their practice they remembered as being key, critical, significant, problematic, happy, anything. So we asked, initially we asked beginning coaches. They were kind of experienced consultants who did a piece of coaching training, coaching development, and as one of the assignments we asked them to write down one or two of their moments that they found interesting or memorable for some reason. And then we started to analyze that data set of what they presented. Once you have about 80 lengthy descriptions of moments, you have quite a lot of data, and you can see patterns in that. And the patterns that we found initially, they were so interesting that we decided to carry on, and then first go to experienced coaches, so with at least 10 years of experience of doing these sessions. And again, they wrote down their key moments that they remembered. I think we said from the past year, any moment. And then we interviewed them by phone to deepen our own understanding of the process around those moments, what had happened, and whether or not and how they'd taken things to supervision as well, so to understand the timeline a little bit around a critical moment. And then one person in the team said, why don't we ask the clients as well? What would they say? And we felt slightly embarrassed because by then we'd been working on this for 5 years, and we never thought about asking the clients, even though they're supposed to be central to coaching. So then we started asking the clients. We got very different patterns from the clients, and then we wanted to know what clients and coaches would say about the same sessions, about the same relationship. And so the last few papers and pieces of research, the last 3 years or so, were all about comparing client and coach descriptions from their collaboration or from single sessions even. And so now we've got a huge data set, and we can fill a book with it clearly. It's about 700 descriptions, and we've analyzed that in many ways through what's called grounded research, so that you read them first in a team, you find kind of codes, areas that they seem to describe, and then you kind of tick them, you kind of put them in little boxes to see how many of them describe each code. And we've now got, for example, out of this come a number of models, and we got one model for 12 areas, 12 different critical moments. And all of the 700 moments that we have fit into one of those 12 categories.
Interesting.
That's one thing that we found.
Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking, my word, 700 critical moments.
That's a lot.
That's a lot to be bringing into a coaching session, but you've boiled it down to 12 areas.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's going to be fascinating, because it takes me to the next question really then is, so how does this qualitative and quantitative research that you've done, how does that apply to the masterclass? So what are some of the questions that you're going to be exploring with the people that come on this program?
So what I would like to do with the coaches is just talk a little bit about that and talk about the different perspectives that coaches have. Beginning coaches, they tend to be full of doubt in their critical moments. They have lots of questions about the profession, but they also have lots of questions about themselves, about, am I any good, as a coach, or, who am I to help this person with that question? And so we're going to look at how the perspectives of coaches on those moments of clients and even of commissioners, because we got some commissioner moments as well from paying clients behind the coaching. And we're looking at how those perspectives are different. And I think that would help coaches to sort of cater for, not just for their own sense of change in coaching, but also for how the client might experience change within coaching sessions. And even what the commissioner is expecting. So there's, for example, in those 12 categories, there's one about change, about physically changing something, developing. And that one doesn't seem to be very important for clients or coaches. But it turned out after 10 years of studying that the commissioners actually are really interested in that aspect. Do I see a different person turning up at meetings? Do they behave differently? And that's what commissioners want to see. And broadly, not all of them, but it's a pattern in their moments of change. And nevertheless, clients and coaches, they emphasize different categories of those 12. So clients, they're very interested in learning new perspectives and insights, whilst coaches are interested in moments of meeting, moments of meaning and emotion and doubt, as I said before. Coaches are constantly doubting when they're in their most critical work.
One of the things that we're very proud of in the Association for Coaching is we have a lot of coaches that have got a lot of experience, really moving towards mastery in their own coaching. And you and I would probably agree that mastery is a lifelong journey. You'll never get to it. So every time that you open one door, you open another, you close one and something else comes up for us.
Yes.
When we think about people that have maybe been coaching for 10 to 20 years, what's some of the learning outcomes that you believe that this will help them with, this masterclass?
For the more experienced coaches, you're saying?
For some of the more, people that have been in the game for 10 to 15 years, working with chief execs, MDs, senior executive leaders, working in complex environments.
Yes.
What are some of the learning outcomes that you think will be attractive to them?
Well, for them, so we've got a separate article, let's say, or a separate collection of about 140 or so critical moments which came from very experienced coaches. So we have something, we think we know something about how they're thinking, how they're selecting those moments. So that's something. And it seems that they are, in their most critical work, they're also struggling with anxieties, with their countertransference. So with what they're picking up from the client and what's happening to them viscerally. So in a less kind of, because they're very good at, probably doing the conversations, contracting well, working towards goals and all that. But there is something that kind of hooks them maybe on an emotional level. And that's what comes out, what emerges in their descriptions of critical moments. So we could work with how can you use doubt, anxiety, countertransference. And I would love to work a little bit as part of that day, because we would then get to what I call relational coaching, where you kind of use the relationship, the felt relationship, the dance in the room, if you want, so the bodily relationship. You use that to reflect on that in the session, and I think that would be very helpful for those coaches. Many can probably do that, but what I read in their moments is that when they're under pressure, when the client becomes critical or there's some kind of rupture, then it's very hard to access that. And it's at its most important, maybe, for the work, that we can use our emotions when we are being, accused or rejected or, left behind by our clients, that we can still say something about what might be going on for us.
That's fantastic. It sounds to me like this is going to be a wonderful opportunity to do some, what we call within the Association for Coaching, professional reflective practice. So to think about, go meta on yourself and have a think about, how do I operate? What can I do differently going forwards? What's my experience? So I think that's going to be a fascinating piece of learning for people. I'm really looking forward to this. And again, I think this is aimed at coaches that are aiming for mastery. It's going to be a very collaborative conversation with you you introducing the theory and then actually laying out a sort of a journey for people to explore, if I've understood it correctly.
Yes, yeah, and I'm looking forward to that as well, to the response in the room and how people, we might do one or two demos of work, plenary work, if people are up for that. And I'm also, there's also a branch of coaching. It's not very well known, but it's called provocative coaching. It's very popular in my own country, of course.
Of course.
Because we're very direct.
Brilliant.
So, and that's creating critical moments.
Brilliant.
Engineering them. And we might practice with that as well a little bit.
Well, I really love that. So when I did my first training with coactive coaching, there's a plug for coactive coaching, I got called Cut the Crap Coach. So there you go. I really love that. So thank you very much, Erik. Masterclass number 2, critical moments in executive coaching. I think it's going to be a great exploration with Erik, and we hope that you can join us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Erik.
Thank you.